Hello everyone, welcome to Andre Darius, and today I'd like to talk about how tokenism has changed the way I see entertainment. Now, in this video, when I mention tokenism, I'm also referring to things like blackwashing, or basically just the race swapping, gender swapping, sex swapping of any sort of character in entertainment. Now, to start things off, let's just have a basic definition of what tokenism is. Tokenism is the act of plugging in representation just to have it. It isn't a conscious effort to represent different groups. It's an effort to not be pointed out as to have favoritism towards a specific group. It's like pushing the bigger issue under the rug in hopes that people won't notice, but the rug has huge lumps. Now, that was by the Rowan Writing Arts. They did a great article on tokenism that I'll link in the description below. I definitely recommend that you read that. And now, since we've gone past the definition, let's go into why I think tokenism is a bad thing, or just why it is a bad thing in general. Here's the reason why tokenism, race swapping, and just the way how some creators are perverting these characters these days is a bad thing. Tokenism isn't true diversity or inclusivity, it's just laziness. Instead of creators using their precious time and resources to either develop or adapt an already existing minority character, or just make a new minority character for themselves, they've chosen to time and time again leech off of the name recognition of already established characters. Sometimes they only change the character's race, gender, or sexuality to parade them around the media and put as little effort into their pandering as possible, but other times they go as far as to change a character's core beliefs and what they stand for, just to make them a vessel for whatever agenda or badly written social justice message they're into at the time. Now that we're past the definitions and all that formal stuff, let's get into how tokenism, race swapping, and just the perversion of some of these characters have affected me personally. Growing up, of course, there were tokenized and race swapped characters back then, but I didn't notice it because of my age, of course. I didn't really care what the characters looked like, just as long as whatever I was watching was good. But now that I'm older and I see these things and how prevalent it is and how obvious it is of what these creators are trying to achieve here, it really bothers me. Like, every time I see it, no matter how big or small the character may be, once I find out that they're race swapped or they're sex swapped or gender swapped, it bothers me mentally. But it doesn't bother me to the point where I'll put down a show or put down watching a movie or reading a comic book. Well, I don't even really read modern comics books like that, but whatever, just a movie or TV show, I wouldn't stay away from it simply because there's a race swapped, gender swapped, or sex swapped character, or even if they like perverted the character somewhat, I might still watch it. Of course, it would bother me while watching it, but it wouldn't bother me to the point of where I would want to avoid it entirely because of that. And just because of how like obvious it is what they're doing, like it's so cheap, it's so lazy, and it's just sad to see that like there's just this much lack of creativity when it comes to portraying minority characters, whether it be in the LGBTQ plus community or in the black community, Asian community, just any minority group whatsoever. And just the laziness they have when it comes to these characters, because they just want to pander to us as much as possible, but using as little effort as possible. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be this way. Like, this is cheap and lazy, but it doesn't have to be this way. Like, they could just make their own characters. They could, of course, like I said, in why tokenism is a bad thing, they could make their own characters. They can develop like older characters people don't really know or care about anymore, make them better. But they're not doing that. They're just focused on making this cheap and just like sort of disrespectful to the fans of that work, because whenever members of that fan base of the character that was tokenized or sex swapped or whatever, whenever they talk up, then they're always pointed out as homophobic or racist, and they can't really win that race because it's mostly just normal people, since it's the MCU or the DCEU. that's being really watched, especially because like this is happening mostly in superhero movies since they're coming out all the time, and it's just so apparent what they're trying to achieve, but it doesn't have to be that way. All right, like doing an accurate portrayal of a comic book or of any sort of old media, any book or anything. It doesn't have to lead to characters being race swapped or gender swapped or sex swapped in the name of diversity or inclusivity, because this isn't true diversity or inclusivity. Like all they have to do is stay accurate to the content, and it would just come out as a good money making product for everyone all around. Of course, there will be some unreasonable people who would wish that the main character or one of the female characters were a minority group of some kind, but I mean that's just their problem, honestly. Creators keep making excuses that normies won't accept new characters, but that's simply not true. All right, like we see like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody cared about the Guardians of the Galaxy until James Gunn made that movie, and now they're like one of the biggest superhero teams ever, one of the most popular at least. And so that's not really an excuse. Really, it just all comes down to, as I've said before, laziness and just them like shilling it out and pandering to people in the name of diversity and inclusivity. If they just stuck to the source material, then this wouldn't be a problem. Then it would be good, and it would please all reasonable people involved. But no, they're scared of the SJWs. They're scared of the unreasonable people who won't like what they have to offer if it's accurate to the source material, because when it's accurate to the source material that doesn't involve them, then they'll be mad about it. So to just bring this back to the center topic of how tokenism, race swapping, gender swapping, all that has changed the way how I see entertainment, it really affects me these days, especially since it's so prevalent and so obvious what they're doing. It really affects me, but not to the point where I can't admit to enjoying something even though it has race swap, gender swap, tokenized characters in it. I can still objectively like something even though it has those things in it, but it just lowers my level of respect for the creators involved. Like it's unless it's like the studio that made them do that, of course. But it just like lowers my respect for the content, whatever it is that I was consuming there, and it just like I don't know, it's just unfair really to the fans of the source material. So that's basically all I have to say. This is why I think tokenism, race swapping, all that is a bad thing, and how it has changed the way how I see entertainment. Hopefully, I got all my points across the right way. This is all unscripted, so it'll be longer than it has to be, and I'm just not used to doing this like this. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you want to see when I drop a video next. Follow me on Twitter at Andre Darius. Follow me on Instagram. Although I haven't posted anything there yet, follow me. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. This has been Andre Darius. Goodbye.